The following video contains spoilers. We suggest watching the episodes alone in the dark.
Hello, Wolfpack! We're back, and today we take a look at another classic Haunting Hour tale of suspense that has been requested by our faithful viewers for a long time. Today's episode stars famous child actress Ariel Winter, who you all might remember as Jenny from another great little horror story called Fear Never Knocks. Much like Bailey Madison, all of Miss Winter's Haunting Hour episodes are very great stories. It's surprisingly fortunate how both Madison and Winter have lucked out by starring in a ton of the show's fantastic episodes, and didn't end up like poor Emma Grabinski or Joey King, who had some less than stellar episodes. Ariel Winter has also played Alex Dunphy from Modern Family, the female Robin Carrie Kelly from The Dark Knight Returns, Princess Perdita from Young Justice, and a Green Arrow short, which was reviewed on this very channel by some stupid wolf. She was also College Humor's Psycho Dora the Explorer, and of course, Sofia the First from the hit Disney cartoon of the same name. So children, enjoy your beloved innocent childhood icon being gruesomely punished on this dark horror show. Oh, you all know something bad is going to happen to her. So what supernatural forces are going to haunt Ariel this time? Why, a modeling agency, of course. Yep, this week, the Haunting Hour wants to make fashion modeling the next scary subject to haunt our nightmares. Yeah, sorry to disappoint all you Blood Knights out there, but the headshot title here is referencing modeling headshots that celebrities give to their agencies, so nobody's going to be getting their head blown off in this episode, like some people might wish for. In fact, we don't see guns ever being used in the series until Coat Rack Cowboy. Though considering that this episode is still very popular, even without literal gun headshots, I'm sure they did a great job at making fashion modeling scary, right? Right? Well, let's stop wasting time and find out. Was this moral story a beautiful model of nightmarish perfection, or is this episode so last season? We'll see. This is my review on the Haunting Hour fan favorite tale of suspense, Headshot. So our episode opens up with a montage of our main characters having fun, while our unseen narrator named Lexi gives us some behind-the-music style exposition on our main protagonist, Gracie Wild. Apparently, this is going to be a story about a falling star. But seriously, would any of this partying montage strike you as an opening for a horror story?
This is the headquarters for Teen Publications, a place where dreams are made. Headshots. Beautiful, aren't they? The empty space has been reserved for Gracie Wild. Yes, that Gracie Wild. You've heard of her, of course. The most famous teen face on the planet. But she didn't start out that way. I should know. We've been best friends since pre-K.
Brought to you by the same writer who made The Perfect Brother. To be fair, this montage is pretty good, since I love how it tricks us into thinking that this will be a fun episode, before crushing our optimism with all the dark plot turns. But I think this parting montage needs a serious music upgrade.
Not what they say.
you still using that lame soundtrack? Yes, Holden's song deserves more appreciation. He'd want me to play it so people would recognize his musical talent. Seriously, folks, feel free to play Holden's song in your videos since it's not copywritten. It's a perfectly great song just sitting there. Holden won't mind it being used. He wants to be famous. So after the Gem and the Holograms intro, we cut to the present day, where we meet our main character, a very shy waitress named Gracie Wild, played by Ariel Winter. Gracie works at some Starbucks/Jamba Juice hybrid store that her friends frequently hang out at, but we see that Gracie is the loser among her social circle of cool pals. Yeah, Ariel Winter is the group loser. Very realistic there, Haunting Hour. We're then introduced to the friends, who are all popular Haunting Hour actors from multiple episodes. As I said before, Gracie was Jenny on Fear Never Knocks. Her closest best friend and our narrator Lexi was Sally on the ironically named episode Best Friend Forever. And she'll go on to play the idiot bully big sister Naomi on the fecal matter known as Sans. So if some of you hated Lexi for her actions in this episode, don't worry, she'll get another episode where she dies a brutal death. The third girl is their popular fashionista model friend, Flynn, played by Anna, from the critically acclaimed story arc The Dead Body. And last is the token boy of the group, Dylan, played by Ari from Catching Cold. Alright, Ari, looks like your life got 1,000 times better after your old best friend Rowley was taken away by the pedophile ice cream truck, since now he's in with a trio of hot girls. The friends are all talking about how there's this sweet modeling contest going on called the Miss Prettiest Face competition, where Flynn reveals that she plans to win it by impressing the big-wig modeling agents with her headshots. This contest is being held by the world's greatest fashion magazine company, dubbed Teen Magazine, who will make the winner the next big and famous fashion model in the universe. Teen Magazine? Really? The guy who wrote The Perfect Brother honestly calls his creative corporation Teen Magazine. How original. Now, if you excuse me, I need to ask Wolf for my Cat newspaper back. The model competition is open to the public, so anyone can enter it if they choose to do so, causing the friends to ask Gracie why she doesn't enter it. But sadly, she lacks confidence. Flynn then acts like a jerk by yelling at Gracie for giving her the wrong drink, which is a smoothie called Red Dye No. 3, which Flynn is allergic to, making Gracie feel sad. Yeah, as stupid as a drink called Red Dye No. 3 sounds out loud, this small moment is actually a clever foreshadowing plot point for later. How do you even mix up a drink called Red Dye No. 3? This is Red Dye No. 3. I ordered Red Eye No. 3. That Alp may be a huge creep, but at least he makes a good milkshake. Also, Flynn is a terrible best friend, since she yells at the shy waitress and even knocks over Lexi's shake in anger. Jerk. Don't worry though, because Ari tries to comfort his crush Gracie and boost her self-esteem.
You should be on that magazine.
Wow, apparently that scene was so dull that we cut to a car parking outside. Way to ruin Ari's screen time, Haunting Hour. We then meet Cassandra Hobbs, a famous fashionista businesswoman who scouts out new modeling talent. And of course, she takes an immediate interest in our protagonist Gracie Wild. Cassandra tells Gracie that she's so pretty and that she should enter the Miss Prettiest Face contest herself. Gracie says she doesn't have any money, but that's okay, because this creepy stranger says that she can help our kid hero out for free. That is, if Gracie has the desire for it. And as you can guess, Gracie decides to try out for the modeling contest, where she then goes to the leftover set of Mode magazine to do some poses for Hobbs. Unfortunately, Gracie is reluctant because of her shyness, but her best friend Lexi comforts her. And I swear to you all that the dialogue shared between Gracie and Lexi feels like there's some ambiguous shipping moments for them. Seriously, I'm not making this up or exaggerating. Listen to some of these scenes and you tell me that it doesn't sound like these lines would fit between a romantic couple.
I changed my mind. Oh, no, you don't. Look at me, Lex. I am a server in an ice cream shop. I don't belong here. Yeah, well, you're probably the worst server in ice cream shop history. But you also happen to be the most beautiful person I know, inside and out. You got all this from one episode? It's subtext, even.
Thanks for another romantic two-girl friendship haunting hour. So after Lexi encourages/hits on her gal pal, Gracie agrees to go through with this tryout, where Cassandra Hobbs herself is already prepared to start shooting photos for the girl. It sure is odd that this unknown big businesswoman was ready for this one girl who she wasn't even 100% sure would show up for the contest. I'm sure it's nothing sinister. So as the girls get ready for the photo shoot, we get this odd, creepy scene.
Right this way. Okay.
What was that? Was my brother Wolf doing his sound effects again? So we then see Ariel Winter cosplaying as Selena Gomez, where we get another music montage of Gracie doing fun model poses. Cassandra tells our protagonist to fantasize herself as the most beautiful girl in the world, which turns our shy waitress into an egotistical diva bragging about herself.
Music. Beautiful. Tell me your dreams, Gracie. I don't know. Be in a magazine, I guess. Why stop there? Why not be the most famous face on the planet? The new face of Teen Teen. Yes. Say the words. I want to be the most famous face on the planet. Again, and spin. I want to be the most famous face on the planet. Again, I want to be the most famous face on the planet. Again, I want to be the most famous face on the planet.
So after the fame montage, Gracie gets some epic headshots that guarantee her a place in the competition, while Hobbs congratulates Gracie, telling her that the camera captured who she really is deep down. Then Gracie becomes instant gal pals with Cassandra now, causing some tension between her and her girlfriend Lexi.
The camera never lies.
The next day, the girls celebrate their first victory, but Gracie starts acting like a jerk when she lies to her own mother, saying that she already studied for her big test tomorrow, when really she didn't study at all. Gasp! Sofia the First lied to somebody? Curse you, Haunting Hour, for making her do such an audacity. The mother buys into Sofia the Worst's lies and leaves, never to be seen in the episode ever again. However, Lexi has noticed her girlfriend's sudden changes in her attitude lately because she's not oblivious, and she gets confused on why Gracie is acting up.
I can't believe you just lied to your mother like that. You never even looked at the map. Who needs math? Cassandra says when I'm rich and famous, I can always hire somebody to count my millions. Seriously? Who are you?
I'm that man.
Lexi leaves in disgust, but suddenly Gracie sees that her headshot is now turning ugly. Really, Haunting Hour? This is our first big scare. Ariel Winter getting photoshopped by the Walking Dead app. A bit slow, but I'll see where this is going. The next day at school, Gracie continues acting like a jerk when she blows off her pals so she could hit on Jake Skinner and his homies. Ew, Jake Skinner and Ariel Winter? Could you imagine that couple? Lexi tells off her girlfriend about her irrational attitude, but suddenly Cassandra shows up to take her underage girl for a ride back to her place, which causes the friendship rift to grow even more between Gracie and Lexi's romance.
Don't go, Gracie. Please. Lex, I have to.
But while Gracie and Hobbs drive away together, we do get an honestly creepy jump scare. Sorry, I always reveal my true self around hot schoolgirls. Yeah, aside from the creepy pedophile vibes going on here in this tragic love triangle, this is surprisingly scary. Cassandra is clearly not a human being, but some demonic abomination hidden behind an alluring female form. A rather nice jump scare, since it doesn't get all in your face, but instead has the Haunting Hour doing a subtle scary moment. I respect that the show doesn't just shove this in your face with an obnoxious scare cord like a film would, since it's small but also disturbing. Bravo, Haunting Hour. The next day at school, Gracie acts like a bigger jerk by coercing Dylan into doing her test for her since she didn't study. I guess the show just wanted to add in a lesson for the kids to study hard in their classes under this modeling episode, which is a good thing since now all you kids out there can be true model students like good old Big Yellow. But after taking her test for her, Dylan gets into trouble with the teacher, who saw everything. But Gracie is a jerk and ignores him. Yep, Gracie forced Dylan to cheat for her, then lets him take the fall for it. While her only guy friend gets taken out of class and is suspended for it.
What a bitch.
Wait, what? He seriously gets suspended for cheating on a test? But it's clearly the first time he's ever done it, yet he gets suspended for a week on a first offense? I just want to remind you all that the show has had idiot bullies straight up assaulting kids in the hallways and scarring innocent children for life, but most of the writers act like that's okay for schools? But cheating on a test, that's when the school drops the hammer. It just feels weird when all the different Haunting Hour writers do their own takes on the school system, since most of them never match up. I mean, why is Dylan getting more punishment than every idiot bully does? Then again, if you think Dylan getting suspended for cheating on a test is bad, just wait until we get to the detention kids. By the way, we never see Dylan ever again. Most likely he broke off his friendship with Gracie forever thanks to her evil actions, but he doesn't even interact with Flynn or Lexi anymore either. This character just drops out of the plot entirely once his role is done. Farewell, Ari. You were a really underrated actor as the generic best friend in your only 2 Haunting Hour episodes. It's a darn shame you never got to be a main protagonist in your own story, but at least you will be remembered fondly for, oh look, a car parking! after screwing over dull Dylan, she sees that her headshot is growing uglier, reflecting all her horrible sins. But Gracie doesn't mind because she goes right back to the modeling agency, where Flynn is now there getting her own headshots from Cassandra as a client too. And she rightfully calls out Sofia the Worst on her awful behavior since she got Dylan suspended just to pass a test. Oh, but guess what? Gracie doesn't care, and she actually yells at Cassandra for having Flynn as one of her thousands of clients because she wants to be the contest winner since she's much prettier than every other girl is.
Flynn, give us a minute. What is she doing here? Posing for a headshot. You said I was the front runner. Inconsiderate bitch!
Hobbs informs Gracie that Flynn is just an extra client she wants to enter in case Gracie doesn't make it into the final round, stating how Flynn is just as pretty as her thanks to her nice, sweet skin.
You said I was the front runner. True, but I could always use another. And Flynn does have the most flawless complexion. It's all about the skin, my dear.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
This pisses off Gracie, showing that our once sweet, lovable, shy waitress has now evolved into a shallow, self-absorbed diva who thinks that she's better than everyone else. Though as horrible as she was towards Dylan, some people might find it a bit hard to hate her when she starts growing bitter towards Flynn. No offense to Anna fans, but Flynn is kind of a jerk too. She scoffs at the idea of Gracie entering the Miss Prettiest Face contest earlier when her friends compliment the nice Gracie. She yells at her for accidentally getting her drink wrong, and she's done nothing to help our protagonist out besides calling her out in a condescending tone. Flynn isn't exactly a nice character either, but we're supposed to view her as a sweet, popular girl with some moral standards compared to Sofia the Worst here. I'm just saying, if we're meant to see Flynn as a more well-meaning character, then we do have to see that she's just as friendly towards Gracie as Lexi is. But we do get the idea that Gracie is becoming more and more uglier on the inside, since screaming at her manager for having other clients is a pretty smug thing to do. So yeah, now Flynn is working with Hobbs, and this makes Gracie pissed off. So pissed off that she gets back at Flynn by poisoning her drink. Yep, Gracie deliberately gives Flynn that stupid red dye number 3 smoothie, which causes her rival to get a fatal skin rash, while Gracie's headshot grows wildly ugly. Okay, first off, Gracie is fired, right? She went out of her way to poison a customer, and Flynn instantly realizes that it was her. So this should mean that Gracie gets fired from the Jamba Juice store, right? Or is having poisoned food fed to the customers a typical thing going on in this establishment?
Mind if I add a little something to these fries?
I don't see why not.
Second of all, I just love how the truly horrible thing focused on in this scene is Gracie's iPhone headshot growing uglier, and not the fact that Flynn has a skin rash sending her to the hospital. Really good priorities there, writer. I guess now is a good time to bring this up, but this entire episode is meant to be an homage to the classic horror story, The Picture of Dorian Gray, by Oscar Wilde. Get it? Wilde, like Gracie Wilde. I see what you did there, Haunting Hour. But yes, this entire story is meant to be a modernized version of The Picture of Dorian Gray, which was a novel and long chain of movie adaptations about an egotistical rich man named Dorian Gray, who had a very special painting of himself made for him. One day, Dorian meets with a strange hedonistic man who is implied to be the devil, or at least some kind of supernatural demon in a few of the adaptations, and this stranger makes a deal with Dorian Gray. he can help him gain immortality and everlasting fame and fortune in exchange for his soul. Naturally, Dorian takes the deal and lives his immortal life consequence-free, but while he stays young, rich, and happy forever, his painting starts to grow older, uglier, and more grotesque over the years, reflecting how hideous Dorian really is underneath his youthful shell. The portrait of himself ages while he grows more attractive, but the hideous painting of Dorian is growing uglier not just from his age, but from his sins. Dorian Gray uses his immortality and carefree life as an excuse to be a jerk towards everyone, which causes the portrait to deform over time from his sins. This is pretty much the exact same plot happening in Headshot. Gracie Wilde has her true self captured on the camera, but while she looks beautiful on the outside, she's growing uglier on the inside due to all of her wicked misdeeds. Like Cassandra said, the camera shows who Gracie really is, and Gracie is becoming hideous every time she does an evil deed. Gracie is like Dorian Gray. This whole episode is just an adaptation of The Picture of Dorian Gray, just with a female version of the cast and a really modernized setup. And if you can believe it or not, this adaptation is one of the best novel adaptations I have seen in a long time. Yeah, I know it's short and changed up for modern audiences, but amazingly, it doesn't spit in the face of the source material. It's retelling a classic horror story for a new audience, not ripping off a story like Spores did, but doing it as an homage to the original. R.L. Stine's shows have done entire plot homages before, and they treated the original source material with the respect it deserves. They don't completely rip off The Picture of Dorian Gray, but just adapt it for the show, and it is surprisingly very good. It's certainly much better than a lot of the awful adaptations we've seen nowadays. I'm looking at you, Dark Tower. But in short, Headshot is The Picture of Dorian Gray, with teenage runway models. I know it sounds stupid out loud, but they actually make it work. The symbolism of Gracie's headshot getting uglier every time she becomes Sofia the Worst is phenomenal, and is a great shout out to Dorian Gray's transformation. The picture slowly growing into a more uglier image over time is a good way to show how sick and twisted our kid protagonist is becoming, because it shows us all how the agency turned this shy girl into a hideous abomination of pure sin.
Bodies change, honey. Bodies change.
We cut to the final round of the modeling competition, where we see a shorter montage of Gracie doing poses, while the competitors are judged by Owen Wilson. She goes back to her dressing room, where Lexi finally confronts our protagonist on her villainous behavior, even showing Gracie a picture of their old friendship gang. Lexi reveals that Flynn was sent to the hospital as she chews out Gracie for being a jerk, but Gracie responds by acting like a jerk in a desperate attempt to salvage their relationship. Yeah, because acting like a jerk will definitely save your love. Lexi also sees her gal pal's hideous headshot and points out that this is how ugly Gracie really is underneath all her physical beauty. Of course, Gracie still acts like a jerk and claims that Lexi is just jealous of how hot she is. Oh, but like I said before, this scene seriously feels more like two lovers about to break up, as Gracie sounds as if she's begging Lexi to stay her girlfriend. Seriously, just listen to this.
Wait, where are you going? The eliminations start in 10 minutes. I know, Gracie. I can't stay. Look, I already told you I had nothing to do with it. It's not about Flynn or Dylan. It's about everything. Something's happening to you, Gray. That's right. Something amazing. My dream is about to come true. You sure it's not Cassandra's dream? What are you talking about? Ever since she came into your life, you've changed. Did you ever stop to think about what she gets out of it? Cassandra said you'd do this. She said when good things started to happen, the first people to bail would be my closest friends. It's a horrible thing to say. I love you, Gray. And stay with me. I'm afraid. Afraid? Or jealous? God, Gracie. Give it. Just give it. Don't you get it? That headshot shows how ugly you've become. Yeah. That's pretty funny coming from a butterface like you. Oh God, Lexi. Lexi, wait, I didn't mean it like that. Joining together is the key. We have to learn to work in harmony. You could end your trouble if only she could see. No matter where, in sea or air, the love we share will set them
I thought what we had was special!
So yeah, the love is gone between these two, but when Lexi tries to leave in a huff of anger, she gets magically locked inside of Cassandra's office as the businesswoman herself shows up to deliver our big reveal. Cassandra Hobbs is actually the devil. Impossible. Everyone knows that the real devil is some old rock star who runs the local guitar center. That's Sir Maestro, who was not exactly a scary devil compared to Cassandra here. Cassandra Hobbs is honestly a much creepier version of Satan, since she is way more evolved in the episode, and she does play a vital part in the story, while Sir Maestro was not as intimidating or as powerful as he should have been. Cassandra reveals that her big teen modeling magazine is actually a front for stealing the souls from her young attractive models by offering them a ticket to easy fame once she scouts them out. Gracie is just one person in a long line of victims that the devil has gone through. Heck, the episode hammers it in by showing the portraits of Cassandra's old clients growing uglier too, to symbolize how the devil has done this so oftenly. It's pretty scary since it shows us how powerful the devil really is. This devil has a big corporation, a knack for emotional manipulation, and a higher kill count than Sir Maestro does. In Headshot, they show us how powerful and scary the devil is, while in Long Live Rock and Roll, they mostly tell us all about the devil's cool adventures, which was not as fun or scary as it should have been. Now, this isn't an attempt to bash Sir Maestro, since I do think he was a fun villain, but when it comes to being an actually scary devil, I honestly think that Cassandra is spectacular at it.
What? I, Lord Pyron, disagree. This Cassandra is not a good devil.
This guy. What are you doing here, Lord Pyron? You already ruined my last big Haunting Hour review.
I'm here to point out how you are wrong and I am right. This female devil is not as great as you say she is. There are amazing devils like myself and...
Oh, shut up. Just shut up. You are not a better devil. You are a big flaming dolt who is nothing more than a lame cartoony cutout of Satan, and will never truly be as scary or awesome as you were back on your video game franchise. Nobody cares how you or the other thousands of devil incarnations out there there are better devils in comparison, since no matter what, Satan can be written in multiple ways. Cassandra is a good devil, despite not being the first devil anyone thinks about. Cassandra is a character first, and the show acknowledges that by giving us a new kind of Satan through her actions.
But I had a whole montage of cool devils planned. This time it was going to be over 5 minutes longer than the last one.
Leave.
Fine, I guess I'll go bother Wolf again.
As I was saying, Cassandra is a good version of the devil, and she does feel like a new, fresh, creepy villain to fear. She has an ominous feel surrounding her, long before we discover that she was the villain all along. She looks like a normal, unsuspecting human woman, and not like the barrel full of obviously evil creepazoids that this show loves overusing. What makes her scary is how good she is at manipulating the mind of a naive teen girl, or multiple teen girls in fact, into becoming a person of pure evil. She doesn't have to show off her demon powers to get stuff done, but instead, she plays with the human soul mentally to get what she wants. I guess the devil does wear Prada. Plus, we actually get a double plot turn in this big reveal. The devil reveals that she does want Gracie's soul, and she did want Gracie to come to her, but you know what's the bigger surprise? The devil reveals that she didn't do anything to change Gracie's personality at all. Satan just wanted to feed off of Gracie's sins, but she didn't cause Gracie to do all the evil things she's done in this episode. So all the evil things Sofia the Worst has done in this episode were entirely of her own free will. Gracie disobeying her mother, blowing off her best friends, cheating on a test, getting Dylan suspended, poisoning Flynn, insulting everyone, and breaking up with Lexi, all of it was her own doing. The devil just offered her temptation, but in the end, it was Gracie who grew into an evil jerk without any supernatural alterations to her own personality. The devil was there, waving the ticket to easy fame in front of our protagonist, but she didn't tell Gracie to do all the horrible things she did. Gracie is who she always has been deep down. Gracie, all this time, was a shallow, self-entitled, phony jerk who hid behind her shy, kind demeanor to gain some love. Gaining her ticket to easy fame just unleashed her inner monster. She shedded off her kind shell to reveal the sick monster she was underneath all along once she had Cassandra help bring out her true self.
Gracie is not one of them. You changed her. You see, that's where you're wrong. I can't change anyone. I simply offer encouragement. They just need a little push in the wrong direction.
I really love this plot twist. It provides an unbelievable amount of depth to our main character, turning what we thought was just a shy hero into a horrible villain who would gladly abandon her own friends just to get famous. Sure, it's a little depressing to see Sofia the First becoming a jerk, but it actually makes us think. It makes us question if we truly know a person, because what we see on the surface doesn't always match up with what kind of a person they are underneath. You know, don't judge a book by its cover and all that jazz. It doesn't simply label Cassandra as the pure evil villain who caused all of this horror to happen, but instead, it implies the idea that Gracie could have been this awful human being even without the devil's influence over her. True, this episode literally has the devil in it, but Satan outright informs us that Gracie was a bad person before she showed up. This world isn't an easy black and white morality land, but Headshot is a very gray episode. Nothing is made 100% clear, but the viewer has to put the pieces of the puzzle into play for themselves. Is Gracie an anti-hero, a victim of trickery, or a straight-up villain? Who is a hero, and who is a villain?
So brave, so predictable. Good guys, bad guys, you always know their next move. Victory goes to the gray men in the middle, because you never know how we'll surprise you.
So yeah, awesome thought-provoking twist there, Haunting Hour. Gracie didn't change at all. This is just who she always was behind her shy front. Being famous unlocked her sinful, ugly self. The devil didn't change Gracie. Gracie chose to give in to sin. Sorry, Sofia the First fans, but Ariel Winter is a villain this time. Aw, now I gotta go back to watching the PJ Masks. Back in the plot, the devil reveals that all Gracie has to do to get out of her contract is to delete her headshot and quit modeling forever. But she didn't do that. Again, Gracie could have gotten out of this evil deal herself, but she went through with it anyway. Of course, this also makes Satan look like a total idiot for telling Lexi all about her evil plans, despite the fact that the girl was just going to leave Gracie's life forever. Yeah, that was a pretty big idiot moment when you really think about it. Don't worry though, because we get another scary scene when Lexi sees Cassandra's true form.
It's almost time. Who wouldn't want to miss her big moment? What are you?
I'm Batman.
Haven't you already guessed?
Oh my gosh, she ate her soul! We see that the judges and Owen Wilson are ready to tally up the scores to declare the winner, while Sofia the Worst awaits in her dressing room, gazing at her lost innocent past. Just then, Satan comes in to see her client, where Gracie finally confronts the devil on her hideous headshot, where, if you can believe it or not, the devil does the one thing you would never expect her to do. She tells the truth. Yeah, Cassandra pretty much tells Gracie a very short version of the truth by admitting that the headshot is magically showing her her true sinful self. But she tells Gracie that she only has one final choice to make. She can choose either her friends or her fame. She can go back to being the nobody she was as the friend nobody likes, or she can earn her well-deserved fame as the next big fashion model. So after everything, after causing some serious rifts in all of her relationships, after performing many wicked misdeeds, after cutting her way up to the top into the finals of the Miss Prettiest Face contest, what does Gracie Wilde do? She completely severs all ties with her innocent past to take up the devil's deal. No joke, she leaves her friends behind to gain easy fame by literally surrendering her soul to Satan. Sofia the First, boys and girls, she chose fame over friendship. But it turns out that Lexi is still alive, as she wakes up and decides to foil Satan's plans by saving Gracie's soul from her evil clutches. Apparently, she completely ignored that whole speech about how Gracie was a jerk the whole time and not the same nice girl everyone thought she was. But how is Lexi going to save her ex-girlfriend? Well, she easily breaks into Gracie's dressing room and unlocks her iPhone to delete her soul headshot, while our villain protagonist is simultaneously crowned the champion. But we then get our twist ending. Just as Lexi deletes Gracie's soul headshot under the assumption that it would save her girlfriend, we find out that it didn't work, because deleting the headshot wasn't Lexi's choice to make. It was Gracie's, and only Gracie's alone. But this mistake accidentally causes Gracie's face to mutate into the hideous form from her headshot, as the crowd flinches in disgust at Gracie becoming ugly now. And we see that Ariel Winter's beautiful face is now posted on the Devil's Wall, meaning that Satan now owns her soul forever. So just to clarify, in Lexi's last-ditch heroic attempt to salvage her evil former gal pal's soul, Lexi has caused her ex-girlfriend to become permanently ugly, ruined the reputation of Teen Teen magazine, destroyed the lives of Gracie and all those other employees who are now embarrassed by this ugly scandal, and has helped Satan claim Gracie's soul to burn in hell for all eternity. Good job, Lexi. I can't wait to see Joey King knock you down a peg later. But if some of you found it too depressing that the devil came out on top, don't worry, because this incident might ruin the Teen Teen magazine company's reputation, and the devil will eventually take up a low-paying job working at the Guitar Center just to pay the bills. So that's seriously how it all ends. Satan wins, and Gracie is perma-ugly forever. But where's Gracie now?
Guess who this is?
Jeez, talk about being as ugly as sin. Yeah, that's what Gracie looks like now, folks. Gracie was an ugly person in life, and now she looks as ugly as she is deep down inside. Good job teaching the kids out there that they should learn to be nice, Haunting Hour. So remember, kids, don't be a jerk, because being evil makes you ugly. This show really loves to hammer in that moral, so thanks for the nightmare fuel to scar the kids for life, writers. I do admire this karmic twist ending, since Gracie did bring this all on herself. I mean, really, leaving your phone out where anybody can hack it? What moron does that? But when it comes to the moral about being good and not evil, The Haunting Hour does do a great job. It's a simple lesson, but it's done with a lot of cool haunting imagery, which is of course what we love about the show. So remember everyone, don't be a jerk or else you'll look ugly like Sofia the Worst. Gaze upon the hideousness of vile sin. Look at it.
What is wrong with you people? Afraid to look ugliest in the face? Well, here! Look at it! It's ugly, isn't it? You look at it! 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 I want all of you to look at it!
And if you can believe it or not, that's where the episode ends. Our once shy, innocent girl who just wanted to be famous and beautiful is now a rotten, ugly sinner who will soon burn in hell when she kills herself the moment she looks in a mirror. Gracie lost everything. Her friends, her social life, her modeling career, and even her species as a human being after trusting Satan. Roll credits. And that was the end of the fan favorite story, Headshot. How does it hold up? Honestly, that was amazing. This episode is so great. It's naturally a simple cautionary tale trying to teach people not to be a selfish jerk and that beauty isn't everything, especially when your soul is so gruesomely ugly. I admire it a lot. The symbolism is pretty sweet. The scary moments are subtle, but effective. The acting is great, the story is well woven together, the music is okay, the lesson is good, the makeup effects for Demon Gracie are very gross and scary, it has a very decent amount of gray morality to make the audience think, and it's surprisingly a good adaptation for the picture of Dorian Gray, but with a female cast. It's not only a good tale about the fall of a wannabe superstar, but it depicts how being consumed by a desire for fame and shallow fun can turn you into an evil, twisted freak. Gracie might have started out as a good egg, but thanks to some toxic influences to bring out her true self, she showed us all what kind of a person she really is. And in the end, she suffers a dark fate for all her villainy. Now Gracie is ugly beyond all unholy sin as punishment for her actions, and in the end, she gained nothing. Ariel Winter does a great job, and all the Haunting Hour friends give decent performances, despite having so little. But in the end, their effort was so worth it. Headshot is an amazingly creepy deal with the devil story that does do a few things that make it feel real, even if you put the cheesy moments aside. I actually don't really have too many complaints about it, but if some of you have a low tolerance for all these party montages or these cheesy fallen celebrity plots, then you might have to put up with some of the over-the-top moments in this story. I, for one, don't mind, since the plot is actually pretty good, since it was based off of an already great novel, but I can see some people rolling their eyes at all these musical montages. Nevertheless, Headshot is definitely an outstanding horror story that does offer a lot to think about, and gives us old-fashioned scary fun. I give this episode a gold skull and a perfect score. This episode really is a perfect Haunting Hour story that a lot of people will enjoy. I highly recommend seeing this episode if you are a true horror fan. Yeah, it has some cheesy moments and over-the-top background music, but deep down, it has a beautiful story to tell. It has Ariel Winter at her best, great makeup, good acting, phenomenal storytelling, a creepy as hell villain, a good lesson, deep symbolism, haunting imagery, and it stands out as a great adaptation to a classic horror story. Headshot is a very good story that acts as a beautiful, nightmarish, intelligent model of perfection for the greatness that is The Haunting Hour. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, or just tune in for more videos posted here on Wolf Entertainment. I'm your host, Catastrophe, and I hope you all stick to your moral grounds, because being evil is like totally uncool.
Wait, I have something to say.
I'm a trickster. People say I'm really meant for comedy. Here's my headshot, just in case you know anybody. Can't hurt, right? Okay, now, are we all starting to feel a little bit better?